The Prime Minister also revealed that when international commercial flights, hotels, vacation rentals, taxi, public and private bus services resume this Wednesday, July 1st, attractions, excursions and tours won't open until July 13th. And vendors, including straw vendors and jet ski operators, can't open their business until July 27th. Government, though, is ensuring all persons will be required to take a RT-PCR COVID-19 molecular diagnostic test administered by an accredited lab prior to returning to the Bahamas.
Effective the 7th of July, the results of the COVID test must have been taken no later than 7 days prior to the date of arrival. Until that date, tests that have been taken no later than 10 days prior to travel will continue to be accepted. We have made the window of time for testing shorter for the protection of Bahamians and residents. Bahamians and residents returning to the Bahamas from countries where they cannot obtain COVID-19 tests may be permitted entry. We want our people to be able to return home. However, they must clearly demonstrate that the test from that jurisdiction was unavailable. They will also be subject to mandatory requirements for 14 days upon arrival in the Bahamas.
The Prime Minister explained that because of the difficulty in obtaining a PCR COVID-19 test result within 3 days, Bahamians and residents returning home from a trip abroad over a period of 72 hours or less are exempted from having to provide a PCR COVID-19 negative test result to re-enter the country. But he said these travelers will have to quarantine for 2 weeks upon their return home. And in both instances, the period of quarantine time may be reduced if the traveler opts to take a COVID-19 test upon arrival in the Bahamas and the result is negative. He indicated that the traveler will be responsible for the cost of the test, and all persons entering the country may be subjected to thermal temperature checks and continued monitoring by the Ministry of Health. Altaviz Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, a strong plea to Bahamians or residents considering or even planning to travel overseas for non-essential travel.
If you are thinking of traveling for non-essential or emergency reasons, please, I beg you, stay at home at this time. Please, stay at home. If you must fly, visit our family islands.
Especially evident across America, with U.S. reports indicating that the median age of someone testing positive for the virus in neighboring Florida has actually dropped from 65 in March to 35. The phenomenon has forced both U.S. President Donald Trump and his infectious disease expert to issue warnings to this group. Hoping to avoid such a surge altogether, the Prime Minister issued this stern appeal to Bahamian youth.
There is still so much the world still does not know about this virus. While some, including younger people, may seem not to get very sick from this virus or show any symptoms, medical sciences does not yet know if the virus will leave serious damage to their health and subsequently to you in the long run. These effects that we do not know today will reveal themselves tomorrow or later. If you go to large gathering or you don't practice the various health measures, you might pass the virus on to older persons, including the people you love most. And for your own sake, I urge you as young people to observe the life-saving measures, especially wearing facial mask or face covering.
Now, speaking of mask wearing, the Prime Minister also pushed the importance of everyone continuing to do so and doing so properly.
Your mask is supposed to cover both your mouth and your nostril for the entire time that you are out. It is unacceptable for you to have your mask over your mouth and not your nose. It is even more unacceptable for you to have your mask just below your chin. I have seen Bahamians openly gather in groups, talking and hanging out without their mask once they get out of the stores and businesses. We have all have to do better. Let us encourage each other to do the right thing. Government alone, and I repeat, government alone cannot bear this work alone. The restrictions and measures be followed helped to stop community spread of the virus in the Bahamas during the first wave. However, we are not done in this fight. If you stop following the advice, if you start being slack, if you do not wear your mask, if you stop following the rules, the virus will most certainly come back.